action.
Good morning, Year 6. Hope you're all doing well and safe at home and keeping yourselves busy. It's me this week to show you a little bit about things that we're going to upload to the Google Drive, some things that you can help structure your day at home and continue your learning whilst at home. Firstly, a couple of things. I want to show you something which Fiona Jones sent us last week. So Fiona, firstly, massive well done to Fiona, because this was the task we put up last week about Charles Darwin, something we looked at in science, and we asked you to do a bit of research and collect that together in some way, some postal presentation. So Fiona's put this together. I wanted to just show how amazing it is, really. She's done some amazing research on who Charles Darwin was, a little bit about his life and his family and friends and why he was so impactful. Just wanted to kind of celebrate Fiona and say massive well done to you, really. This week, I want to talk you through a little bit about what's on the drive this week to help structure your day and support you. First, remember this is optional. I'm not saying this is what everyone needs to do, but I am putting it out there as something which is available to you to help maybe structure those sometimes long days at home. So, we'll go through each of these in turn. So, the maths home learning is very, very similar to last week. There's a session for each day. They're all on here really clearly labelled, week 2 and then lesson 1 through 5. Attached to each one there is an answer sheet. So have a little go at it. Remember to follow the link, which will give you a video describing what's going on and help support and carry on your maths learning journey at home. That's maths for this week. There's a couple of other things attached to maths as well. I know some of you, I'm sure, are dying to get back into the habit of arithmetic papers. I know people in my maths group have particularly missed that. So there's an arithmetic paper on there to have a little go at, maybe some really focused time on our math skills. For children in Mr. Cole's and Mrs. Stormy's maths group, there's also an extra challenge I'm sure you'll be excited to have a go at on there. So there's some things really focused on maths there for you this week. We've got some spelling and spag activities. So I know our spelling activities around homophones, a little bit of work we've done on our spelling lessons at school, continuing that journey along. Our spag challenges are on here as well. People in my class particularly will be familiar with how they look, looking at all varieties of spelling, punctuation and grammar and a few challenges to sort of solve along the way. So we've got a few things there. There's also, similarly to last week, a couple of reading comprehensions on here. Slightly different topics this week. We've got some about astronauts, we've got some about religious festivals, but again focusing those skills of retrieval and inference, things that we've done in school to help focus your time, and also attach them in the answer sheets so you can see how successful you've been straight away. Science. Now, last week we just showed Fiona's learning from last week. She was really successful. We're looking at Charles Darwin. We're going to continue that theme of evolutionary inheritance, and this week look at adaptation. So what I've asked us to do, if I pull it up here for a second. Mr. Gooding finds it. Okay, so what I've asked you to do is think about how a particular plant or animal has adapted to their habitat. So one of the things you've noted on here, but how has something adapted to a hot climate? So something that comes to mind when I think about that is a cactus. So cactus is a type of plant which thrives in a hot climate. What has it done? How has it developed and changed over time and adapted to thrive in that climate? For instance, you might think about a penguin. How does a penguin adapt over time to a cold climate? And also I wanted to leave a little space here to continue that sketching idea, something which we looked at in science, a little bit about Darwin last week, and also within our art project, some sketching. So there's a little space there for that. And again, if you do this, I'd love to see it. So the email address is shared on the Google Drive. Please send it back in. I would certainly love to see it. So yeah, I'd love to celebrate it in next week's video, so please do send it through. 2 more things I'd like to show you. The first of which is this week's writing task. So, let's look at this one together. So this is this week's writing task. Now, we're going to use this image here as a stimulus for your writing. So what we'd like you to do is look at this picture and think really carefully as to imagine yourself being there. So I put some key questions here. What can you see? What can you hear? If you were there, what would it smell like? This is some sort of Looks sort of like jungle-esque theme here. Anybody that's read Stig and the Dump back in year 5, it's given me that sort of feel to it. How would it feel to be this character here in the middle, sort of gazing out? Is that a hopeful gaze? Is that a dreadful gaze? Is that a scare gaze? It could be a number of things, how you interpret it. What we'd like you to do is to think about writing a really sort of descriptive piece as to how you would feel if you were there. So to help you out, to get you started, we've got a few sentence starters. So casting my gaze into the blue abyss, I could see, what is it you might see? You might see the tropical blue water glistening in the sunshine. Think about it, I've jotted down here about adjectives that are describing words, adverbs, verb choice, all things we talk about in lessons, trying to give that a go at home. Other things you might want to comment on, it was eerily quiet as I inched forward towards the dark gloom, whatever it might be. Think again about how you can be a little bit abstract. Some of the work we did on Pig Heart, where we talked about that cloak of fear, that shadow of doom, whatever it might be, can help you produce some really good writing. And again, please email it in because I would love to read it. So it's something to have a little think about with your writing. Final one. This week we've got a STEM challenge. So, trying to get together our science, learning, technology, engineering and maths. Try and set a bit of a challenge for you. So, this week is all about the power of paper. So, if I just bring us down here, we've got a few things here. Now, I've tried to put something together which is not going to be onerous in terms of resources. Because being at home in this time, we haven't done everything. So, all we need is some paper and either some glue or some sellotape. And what we're going to try and do is think about, the key question is, which paper column could hold the most books? We've got 3. I've given you 3 shapes to start. So we've got a column that's a square, a triangle and a circle. So the way we're going to test this is by stacking books on top of each one to think about how strong that column is. So for instance, I might start off just with my circle, my cylinder here. I might start off with 1, okay, that's 1. I might build it up 2 until the column collapses. And now doing these 3, we can work out which column is the strongest. But the challenge I really have for you is, can you create something which is different? Is there a shape you think, that's the shape I know? If I think about an octagon's got more sides, is that going to be stronger? Something to consider. I know one of these, I know something about my maths learning, I think one of these is going to be a starting point for me as the strongest. However, you might have the answer to that. Again, please send in, please share what we've found out in your design. And please make it a bit more exciting than mine. Mine look incredibly boring and un-tower-like. So, something to consider. But hopefully there is some things for you to get your teeth into this week, some things to carry on your learning, and to carry on that learning journey at home. I do hope you're well at home, and it's nice to, I can't see you, but interact with you in some way. But there is one final thing. Obviously, not being at school, we don't get to see you collective. I know, it's sad that we're not seeing you. But there has been some things which have happened that we haven't been able to celebrate with you. And that one of those things is birthdays. Now, I'm going to try really hard here to remember these birthdays. Lewis Cummings' birthday is coming up on April 1st. So happy birthday in the coming sort of week or so, Lewis. Lucas Patricus, I believe we missed your birthday. And there's one more.
I think that next one's not until the 10th of April, so we can probably wait for the next video to celebrate that one with him.
The guessing game is who it might be. You have to tune in next week to see who the final birthday is. But happy birthday to you two boys. One that's already been and one that's coming up. And we're sorry we can't be here to celebrate with you, but we're doing that via this way. So thanks for tuning in. I hope this gives you some starting points, and see you next time.